Right, well that's me told. Move.
Okay.
Yes.
That's me.
Okay. Good luck, I guess.
Neither. Better crack on with this video. Hello everyone and welcome to a Crystal Rays production on Why Robinson Crusoe Sticks Gaming Edition. This video will explore Robinson Crusoe and its influence on video games, more specifically sandbox and open world video games. Okay, I have my iPad here because I didn't want to be continually looking over here. I have not learned this. This script is too long to learn. I am not an actor. I am a failed YouTuber. Not even a YouTuber, a burgeoning YouTuber. Right, here we go. Just need to make sure it's recording. But, so, why Robinson Crusoe Sticks? A question you've all been asking. A question on everyone's lips hundreds of years ago. Okay, what is Robinson Crusoe? Published in 1719, Robinson Crusoe depicts an English man who is shipwrecked and stranded on an uninhabited island in the West, a heretofore unexplored region. Sandbox, in gaming terms, relates to a person's ability to build and conduct themselves however they want, retaining full agency over their actions. With some games, this also relates to a lessening of financial restrictions, i.e. Roller Coaster Tycoon or Sims City. Wikipedia tells us a sandbox game may either be a video game genre or refer to a gameplay element of a video game which gives the player a great degree of creative freedom to complete tasks towards a goal within the game. The term derives from the nature of a sandbox that lets children create nearly anything they want within it. So there we go, we have the etymology of the noun sandbox. Fabulous. Thank you, Wikipedia. Oh fuck, I've gone too far. We are looking at Robinson Crusoe in relation to games that focus on survival, therefore we have in mind Minecraft, Sand Deep, Conan Exiles, Terraria, Don't Starve, The Forest, and Ark Survival Evolved. Now, I've only played Minecraft, Conan, Terraria, and Don't Starve very briefly, so I'm just inferring from here that these are quite similar, but you can just take it at face value. All these games, to varying degrees and with different styles, afford their players free rein over environments with restrictions generally only imposed by a person's introduction and lack of resources. All of these games allow the player to collect resources and build homes and bases to shelter and rest in. A great deal of these ideas are attributable to the cultural success of Robinson Crusoe, which carried concepts that would find their way into sandbox-style games even today. Now I've whittled down these points of inspiration to 3. These ideas include exploration, domestication, and the unknown. Why is there a need for games like this, you're asking? The question on everyone's lips. Lack of colonial enterprises today is a good thing. Let's not forget that. Married with a lack of wildernesses, something that has not yet been explored by man. That's Dylan's definition. Not Merriam-Webster's or Oxford's. While there do exist wildernesses today, i.e. the Amazon rainforest, large swaths of alpine and tundra Canada and Russia, within Canada and Russia, as well as some jungles in the Horn of Africa, the deserts of the world and Antarctica, the presence of Google Maps, satellite imagery, and extensive photography mean they are no longer unexplored. That's a shame. Or is it? Stop it. All of these games provide a procedurally generated or never before seen environment unless of course the player spoils the game's map prior to playing, allowing the player to vicariously enact the process of exploring heretofore unexplored regions. Exploration of course would come under the unknown, and I'll display a quote from Robinson Crusoe to prove my point, which I'll be doing throughout this video because you don't want to hear me reading quotes out because this is not a lecture. Okay. Robinson Crusoe develops a sense of adventure the reader is able to vicariously take part in through the exploration of the island. This is the same with many of the aforementioned sandbox open world games. Nikolevishvili, summarizing Dean, would posit, and this is an academic quote, so I must read this out. The wilderness theme plumbs the depth. It takes viewers back to profound basics. Wilderness is an iconographic phenomenon right at the mind's eye and the spirit's impulses. Plunged into life and death experiences, the wilderness hero clearly sees why he's alive. He must survive. Fabulous point. So the unexplored wilderness provokes in the subject a sense of adventure and the need to survive, as has just been seen. The need to survive is made more apparent by the inclusion of dangers outwith the physical bodily needs of food, water, and entertainment. There exist enemies that will force the player to adapt their approach to survive, lest they die. However, dissimilar to the voluntary gameplay aspect of sandbox games, Crusoe expresses his gratitude at having been the only survivor of shipwreck. When Crusoe first lands on the island, he is thankful for having been delivered. Another quote about being thankful for having been delivered. And I will put these quotes in a Word document that I will provide a link to and maybe forget and not know how to do it. Yet the realization of a position leaves him near mad from despair. There's another really large quote, but I'm not going to read that, but you can take my word for it. Just like Crusoe, many of the characters from these sandbox games start out with nothing in their inventory. Why would anyone want to experience this, we may ask ourselves? Clearly they don't. It's a vicarious experience, it provides a challenge, and a novel experience a person will never get to experience. Experience. Yet for both the player and Robinson Crusoe, the island country presents an unclaimed tract of land that is waiting to be tamed by humans. The satisfaction of the domestic, or the domestication of the untapped land. A staple of these open world sandbox games is their crafting and building systems. Minecraft with its crafting table, Conan Exiles with its base building, and so on, because I haven't played them, reflect the accounts given by the narrator in the text. Crusoe provides dated entries that explain his building and resource gathering and procuring. He dries out animal skins and grapes to make them respectively wearable and edible, because we don't eat animal skin unless it's chicken. And grapes kill dogs, okay. While similarly finding an appropriate cave to dwell in out of reach of the native creatures of the island, like boars and hogs. Crusoe even goes as far as to reference his dwellings as my country house and his fortification. Just as the player must work to establish themselves upon the map of their open world by gathering building materials such as stone, wood and branches and the like, so too does the protagonist here. This is perhaps where the majority of the sandbox games derive their content. There was a great focus on the range of craftable items which extend from decorative furniture to impressive fortifications. Like castles. For instance, if we consider Minecraft, one of its draws is the inclusion of an extensive building section dedicated to a plethora of blocks the player can either obtain in the world or render from processes such as smelting or combining in the crafting table. In this regard, Minecraft provides its players with the ability to build for aesthetic purposes rather than purely survival as they progress. In this way, sandbox games can assure their longevity and the freedom of creation for its players. As such, it can be said that, and this is another critical quote that I must read, the reader delights in watching how Crusoe succeeds in making all sorts of necessary things for himself, and how through a long, slow and laborious process of trial and error, ultimately finds use for almost everything he salvages from the wrecked vassal, and that is also Nikolevshvili. Thank you, Eastern Europe. So that's just kind of saying how waste not, want not, motherfucker. God put everything on the earth, you better make sure you use it all or recycle it. Okay, generations of readers and viewers have enjoyed the Castaway genre's depiction of ingenuity, survival and renewal. We all want to see Robinson Crusoe as the underdog survive on the island. Players are given increased immersion through the ability to interact with environments, allowing them to embody the Crusoe character themselves, proving first, apart from the colonialism and the problematic Friday bit, proving first how innovative and adaptable they are to their newfound stranded situation in a world with nothing, before fully domesticating and bringing their own creativity to the island. Don't forget to build a penis. Besides the settling of the land and the erection, of their home, all of these games allow their players to craft weapons to stave off and kill wild beasts, in some instances called mobs, and others simply creatures. The unknown of the country almost certainly refers to the possible existence of creatures, humanoid, bipedal, or quadruped, that could pose a threat to a new player or person who has come ashore or spawned without so much as a pocket Bible or Quran to name. The unknown, later in the narrative of sandbox open world game, often translates to a deeper understanding of the island or country, be that through the existence of new and more dangerous regions such as the End or Nether in Minecraft, or even the discovery of further exposition surrounding the new country, the history of the unnamed cities in Conan, the technologies of the island in Ark, or the story of the forest. Now I hope that Ark was an island, because I've just said that. I'm gonna have a drink because my throat's dry. The discovery with Robinson Crusoe, and I'll pause to give anyone time who hasn't read the book to skip to another timestamp that I probably won't provide. I mean, this book was written in 1719, so you've had a lot of time to read. 3, 2, 1, okay. The discovery is a footprint in the sand, simple but highly effective, and this is going to be one of the only quotes from the text that I read. It happened one day, about noon, going towards my boat. I was exceedingly surprised with the print of a man's naked foot on the shore. Ellipses. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was all one. I could see no other impressions but that one. And that's from page 130 of the Oxford Kindle edition. So, it is a discovery that drives Crusoe to great terror. While he is quite desperate to be rescued, the menace of finding a lone footprint in the sand comes to represent the idea that Robinson Crusoe really is not in control, even after all he has done to domesticate the island. And as you can see here, I don't know how you get a single footprint in the sand, but I don't know. He kind of blames the devil a bit, but I don't know. The second discovery is that having lived on the island for many years, he comes to understand that a cannibal tribe lived nearby, not on the island, but away from the island, because I think the island is located in the Orinoco River, which is in Brazil, I don't know. And that any moment he might have mistakenly wandered into their grasp. Thank fuck. So I'll provide a quote about that. And it'll be in the document if I ever link it. Robinson Crusoe's unknown is realised in both the savage other and the danger of his ignorance to their existence. These savages, we discover, are bringing prisoners to Crusoe's deserted island to consume them. Like Tim Tams. These savage others are often paralleled in open-world sandbox games to the likes of Minecraft with zombies or pillagers, or in the hostile and sometimes cannibalistic thralls or natives of Conan's exiled lands. However, unlike Robinson Crusoe, the player is not eaten, simply killed. Because how could you explain respawning if your body was eaten? How does anyone ever explain respawning? The rude camera shut off, bitch. I was in the middle of reading a quote. I seemed banished from human society, that I was all alone, circumscribed by boundless oceans, cut off from mankind and condemned to what I'd called silent life capitalized. That I was one who heaven thought not worthy to be numbered among the living, but yet he's still alive. So kind of Tempesty vibes. Whereas for the player, the game's world is a sprawling bounty of opportunity. For Crusoe, it is much the opposite. The ocean prohibits his movements. It keeps him trapped on the island in proximity with the dangerous other, the savages. Robinson Crusoe tackles issues of mental and spiritual fortitude in the face of total exclusion and the feeling of being banded by both your society and God, the Tempest. So, the resonation with game players and the island and sandbox escapism. Again, spoilers in 3, 2, 1, fucking skip. At the close of the text, Robinson returns to England to find that the majority of the family he left behind in Yorkshire passed away. Another sad quote. I went down afterwards into Yorkshire, but my father was dead and my mother and all the family extinct, except that I found 2 sisters and 2 of the children of one of my brothers, because that's an important fucking quote. Even so, the tragedy does not end there. After managing to secure his return to his home country, thank God, that's like what he was striving towards the whole time, Robinson Crusoe finds himself disinherited. He's not left anything. Okay, and another quote. And as I had been long ago given over for dead, there had been no provisions made for me, so that in a word capitalized, I found nothing to relieve or assist me, and that little money I had would not do much for me as settling in the world. Crusoe determines then to secure his money from a plantation he started in Brazil, because plantations are PC. So that was before he was shipwrecked. I know that was terribly rigged. However, in a rather unexpected twist for the contemporary reader, Crusoe decides to return to his island and further domesticate. But what does this mean for the games? Because this is all about the games. Simply put, Crusoe finds himself disaffected with the first world he himself has been forgotten by. Pronounced and thought to be long dead, sorry for the pause, anticipation, he comes to claim inheritance and finds nothing. Crusoe is a character that finds the new world only to return to the modern world. So he goes from the modern world, which was England back when he lived there, which would have been maybe Yorkshire or London for him, goes to the modern world, which is South American Brazil, sets up a plantation, goes up along the South American coast and gets shipwrecked. So he's in the new world, he's shipwrecked in the new world, right? So he finds a new world, only return to the modern world, which is like the first world, London now, but not London as it was when he was there. So he is a relic of an outdated model. He's from the old London, okay? He's an old colonial. In opting to return to the island, he recognizes the pleasure in seeing the wild becoming domesticated. He works hard to establish a base that can sustain a man comfortably. Robinson Crusoe as a text satiates through the medium of literature a desire of humans to challenge their ingenuity and domesticate the natural world around them. Similarly, and this is the conclusion, in embodying the features of Robinson Crusoe's original seafaring and island settling adventure, Sandbox open-world games furnish today's gamers with the ability to escape to lands not yet burdened by the stringent regulations of government and property law. Players are free to take what they want, build where they choose, and explore a newfound world comfortably from their homes. Just kidding. We love our Tory government and property law. Sandbox games with a light narrative and gameplay emphasizing the unrestricted movement and actions of its players provide, perhaps, the most immersive form of escapism widely available in media today. While it is possible that this title may be usurped when VR becomes more affordable and thus introduced into more homes, games like Minecraft, Conan Exiles, The Forest, Stranded Deep, Terraria, Don't Starve, and Ark Survival Evolved, games most of which I haven't played, are the frontrunners in premium, long-lasting, narrative-light, escapist entertainment as founded originally by Daniel Defoe in Robinson Crusoe. Thank you for listening to this Crystal Ray production of Robinson Crusoe Sticks Gaming Edition.